Hi everybody, I'm Ryan Stone. I work for Sandvine up in Canada, but more relevantly, I'm a FreeBSD committer. I haven't done too much with in terms of dtrace development myself. I've done some bug fixes. As Brian mentioned, the main work was done by John Burrell. Follow-on work was done by Rui Paulo, who did the PID provider work and usual land side tracing. I thought I'd just give you, I guess, an update or just walk you through quickly what dtrace on FreeBSD, what features are there, and then open up the field to questions. I don't have too much to talk about. So all the basic kernel stuff, kernel level stuff is there. Static defined probes are there. We have FBT. Have about
30% I care about.
And it's the 30% I care about mostly in my personal work. We have about 17 providers. It looks like there are a lot of missing from Solaris, especially some of the big ones like the SCED provider. As I just mentioned, the PID provider has been ported. It sort of works. The example program works, but if you really to try using it, it's just going to blow up in your face. As far as I can tell, most of the problems are in the userland component, not in the kernel component. But basically, I've tried prototyping it, and I've put in bugs for everything I found, but I haven't really dug into what's gone wrong. Other things, the SD implementation is there, but horrifically lame, and by lame I mean it's a pound to find around an if statement, which is probably going to make Brian cringe. We don't have some of the neat littler features like postmortem dtrace or boot time dtrace. And one of the bigger problems we have is that it's not compiled into the generic, it's not part of the generic configuration. So if you want dtrace, you have to explicitly go and recompile your kernel for it, which has been a big barrier to entry. The problem there is, of course, FreeBSD is BSD licensed, and there's concern. It's been designed such that the CDL components are a separate module that get loaded. The concern is that nobody really knows whether the hooks that are compiled into the kernel have been CDL infected or not, and basically that has to be, somebody needs to audit that before it can be turned on. So that's pretty much the state of things. I don't know if people have questions or...
Is there any movement towards making it available by default? I mean, it seems to me this is kind of an unreasonable fear of licensing stuff, but I hate licensing discussions. So.
Right. Unfortunately, with John dying, and then Rui got hired by Apple and has not had much time for FreeBSD work. The FreeBSD development's kind of gone in fits and spurts, and it's sort of lacking an owner. At Sandvine, there's a lot of interest in it, but our kernel team is very small. We're about 4 people. One of them's a student. One of them's in India. Has been with us for a couple months, and one of them's been with us for a year. And there's me. So it's a matter of finding my time to work on it. But there is interest. In FreeBSD, there really needs to be an advocate, and there needs to be an owner, and just to drive people to use it. Because I definitely get the feeling that not a lot of people are using it, and that has caused it to stagnate a bit.
Is there some help that someone else, perhaps in the Illinois community, can do to help with the audit? I mean, if you dump a source or something, I don't know. I mean, I'm hypothesizing here.
Right. I don't really know very much about the issue. I saw it come up on a mailing list once. It's not a lot of code.
I gotta think that any contributions that have happened post Oracle, we can probably figure out a solution for. It's the stuff from Oracle that is a concern, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think we've taken a merge post Oracle. It's been a long time.
In terms of like advocacy and adoption, have you talked with any of the FreeBSD ZFS people? Because I know that like ZFS seems pretty popular on FreeBSD, so they may be able to like share your mindset of we like awesome tools, and like, have you talked to Pavel, the guy who ported it?
No, I think one of the things that really helps ZFS was that it is a self-contained module that you can just load. You don't have to recompile your kernel. You just build the module and load it, and you have ZFS. And I think ZFS is, by its very nature, because it's a file system and it's basically user-oriented. Anybody who wants to do anything interesting with file systems and FreeBSD can just load it and start using it. dtrace is, by its nature, a developer-oriented tool, so you really have to get the developer community to use it.
I guess, at least there are developers who did ZFS on FreeBSD.
Right.
They would probably appreciate the benefits of FreeBSD or be more open to it than other FreeBSD developers.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's so much that people aren't open to it. It's just, it's not there on the system right now, and they don't know how to use it yet. So, but they know how to use all these other old tools. They can put logging statements in or whatever, and that just works.
Just tell them that there's a ZFS provider coming.
Yeah.
Do you need the hooks to be blessed? I mean, who can make the decision here? I mean, if Kirk comes out and says these hooks are fine, we need to take them, what happen?
So it would probably have to be blessed by the core team. So the government structure is that there's a team of developers who are voted on every 2 years, I think, and they sort of make those type of decisions. I think it's just someone has to put the effort in and say, yep, we're okay.
So I'm imagining that, sorry, I know this is supposed to be a licensing free zone, but I'm imagining that the challenge there is that, not wanting to have CDDL, they want to have a pure BSD license kernel.
What?
But
You want
I'll help evaluate the hooks to prove that the hooks are clean. Then that's why I'm interested in is there something we can do to help? Because we can go back to our own. We have source history in our own, so we can go back and compare and make sure that
Right.
you're good, right?
I think probably part of the problem is most of the hooks were written by John, and so there's just the history behind them has been lost. Yeah.
So is there anything we can do to help on that front? Because it sounds like unfortunately, it sounds like the obstacle, the hurdle we need to get over to get to FreeBSD adoption is that it needs to be there by default. It needs to not require a recompile.
Right.
So how is Apple overcome this hurdle, right? Because they have the same licensing concern.
That presupposes a hurdle exists.
Yeah, the hurdle does not, in my opinion, the hurdle does not exist.
Right.
So
I think there is a fairly large element of just inertia here. It's non-generic now, no one's pushing for it. So I think that's one of the things where someone like me, and probably me, needs to really just take up that banner and go through the code and say, we're okay, let's just turn this thing on.
So let's help you do that.
I just want to restate the default is the difference between, like dtrace and system tap, for example. Like if it's not there on my system when I go have where the problem exists, then it's basically just not there.
Right.
It's hard to sort of get that,
Right.
get that traction. A difference.
Well, and I just think in general, we said earlier, you got to get that positive feedback loop where the developers themselves begin to realize that this is actually your friend and it's going to help make your life a lot easier.
Absolutely.
And it's kind of the dtrace saved my butt moment. That's when your disposition changes.
Yeah.
And we got to get as many FreeBSD folks there as possible.
Yeah, I agree.
So. Anything else? Thank you very much, Ryan.